This is part 2 of Pain and Prescription, Chapter 5. Now, it's just been revealed that Kenny is the landlord of Jackie and Bernard. Kenny shows up to the house that he was renting Jackie and Bernard after the police discovered a dead body. So then the detective says, "Hey, Kenny, nice to meet you. Sorry to call you under these circumstances, but there was a body in your shed. And the body been there for 3 days. And we're just investigating and seeing if there's anything that you might know to help us solve this case." The detective then reached in his pocket, grabbed his phone, and showed Kenny and asked Kenny, "Do you know this man?" It was the body of the man dead in the shed. Kenny's eyes got big, his mouth halfway open, and he screamed, "That's Tony!" The detective replied, "Who's Tony?" Kenny then said, "My girlfriend's uncle." So then Detective James asks, "So where's your girlfriend?" Kenny still puzzled, but he looked at his watch and said, "She should be at work because she just started a new job." So Detective James continued by saying, "Well, I'm gonna need you to get a hold of her and come on down to the station." So hours later, the police and Kenny is gone. The crime scene has been cleaned up. No one is in the house now but Jackie and Bernard, and Jackie is still shaken up. Bernard is sitting in the living room talking to Jackie on the couch. Jackie turns to Bernard and say, "I don't think I can live here. A dead body, and then somebody was in our house. And that somebody that was in our house had on all black, and the dead body didn't have on all black. So that means whoever that somebody was probably killed that person in that shed, and they might come back." All Bernard can do is just hug Jackie and weep with her. Minutes later, there's a knock at the door. Bernard gets up from the couch, places his hand on Jackie's shoulder and said, "Baby, I'm gonna get the door. I'll be right back." He walked towards the door. As he's walking towards the door, he says, "Who's there?" The person on the outside of the door says, "Janice." Bernard opened the door. It's Jackie's sister. He speaks, "Hey, Janice." Janice says, "Hey, Bernard, where's my sister?" Bernard replied, "In the living room sitting on the couch." Jackie replied, "Okay, thanks." Walked past Bernard, went to the living room and sat beside her sister on the couch. She looked at her sister with her hand on her sister's knee. She said, "Jackie, you okay?" Jackie replied with so much emotions running through her body, "I'm gonna move. I can't live here no more." Janice then replied, "But y'all just bought the house." Jackie replied, "No, we're gonna try to break the lease." Janice then replied with her face confused, "I thought y'all bought this house, so y'all renting?" Jackie replied, "Yeah, we're renting." Janice then replied, "Fuck y'all lie for?" Then Bernard stepped in the conversation by saying, "That's not important, Janice. Your sister didn't call you over here for you to question whether she lied or told the truth. She called you over here because she needs you, because she shook up." Janice then replied by saying, "Well, little lies can turn into big lies. Do y'all know who the dead body was out there in the shed?" Jackie then jumped in the conversation by saying, "We don't. And there was somebody in my house too. This is just too much." Janice then took her right hand and put it on her sister's back and rubbed her sister back and said, "If you want to move, sister, you can move." Meanwhile, in Capitol Hill, D.C., over at Lord Kenny and Denham's house, Denham is sitting on the couch rocking her baby, Keon, who they nicknamed Lord K. She's sitting there looking at him crying because this is the 3rd time this week that they had to pick him up from the Head Start Child Development Center that he's in for being sick, rush him to the hospital, running tests, and they still don't know what's wrong with Lord K. And as a new mother, Denham is frustrated, emotional, and scared. Then on top of that, Denham has just been hit with the news that there was a dead body on her and Kenny property. So this is a lot for Denham to handle. So she's starting to become very stressed. Lord Kenny now comes from upstairs to downstairs in the living room to where Denham is, and she's rocking Lord K. Kenny sees that Denham is over there weeping, crying. He goes over there, sit directly beside Denham, wrap his arms around Denham and say, "Denham, baby, it's gonna be okay. I told you when I was young, I used to get sick a lot too. He gonna grow out of that, baby, trust me." Denham looked at Kenny and said, "I hope so." And right at that very moment, it was a knock at the door. Kenny gets up, but before he go check the door, he kisses Denham on the forehead, then he walks to the door. He opened the door, and it's Stacy. She loud mouth and energized, talking about, "Where my nephew at?" Little Kenny giggled. He in there. Stacy walks in the living room and say, "Hey, Dem." Denham look at Stacy and say, "Hey, Stacy." Stacy said, "Stop crying, girl. We're going to be all right. Come on, give me my nephew. He going to be all right." Denham then say, "Thank you so much, Stacy, for watching him while we run down to the police station." I appreciate you. Stacy holding them, talking about something. You know I got my nephew. Hey, boo-boo. Hey, boo-boo. So Denham and Lil Kenny heads out the door, get in the car, and head to the police station. On their way to the police station, they're in the car driving. And Denham sparks up a conversation with Lil Kenny by saying, I just don't understand. You wasn't that young, Kenny, when you was getting sick. You told me you was like 6. I don't know why he's so sick. He's only 1 year old, and it hurts me so bad because he's so small. He won't eat. And the doctor saying we gotta keep waiting for these tests to come back. Lil Kenny driving, he like, babe, I know. He gonna be all right, though. I know he is. He gonna be all right. Just keep him home for a couple of days. You know, build up his immune system. We're gonna do what we gotta do, the home remedies and stuff my mother said try to do. And then we're gonna take him back to the Head Start program. You know, and then he should be good enough to go back to school. Then I'm looking at Kenny with tears coming down her face. I hope so. Now back at Lil Kenny house, Stacy is holding Denham, but she picked up her phone and she FaceTimed Lachelle. Lachelle answered the FaceTime and didn't even say hello. Lachelle said, you there? Stacy says, yeah, Shell, I'm here. And he real small. But I ain't want to come in here looking worried, scaring her, you know what I'm saying? Because she a new mother. But he real small, Shell, I'm worried. Lachelle on the other end of the FaceTime, she said, tilt the phone down so I can see him. Stacy tilt the phone down so Lachelle can see. Lachelle then said, my grandbaby is so small. Fuck that. Big Kenny, we about to go. We about to go stay with my son and them for a couple of weeks. Because we got to find out what's going on with my grandbaby. We about to go. Big Kitty in the background. All right, babe. Let me tell my job. I'm going to use that leave I got. Lachelle on the other end of the phone asked Stacy, did she tell you anything new that the doctor might said? Stacy replied, nah, she just told me that she waiting on test results. Lachelle says, she told me the same thing. Then Lachelle continued by saying, that's okay. We gonna find out what the fuck going on with my grandbaby. So Lil Kenny and Denham finally get to the police station. They park their car in the parking lot. They get out the car and they walk to the doors. They walk to the front counter and they told the police officer behind the desk, we're here to see Detective James. Before the police officer behind the desk could even respond, Detective James was walking out there to the lobby. He said, hey, Kenny, this must be your girlfriend. She said, hey, I'm Denham. He said, nice to meet you. I'm Detective James. Follow me. They go to his office. He pulled both of their chairs out. He walked around the desk, pulled his chair out, and sat in it as they sat down too. So Detective James started by saying, thank you so much for coming in to talk to me. Sorry that you have to come and talk to me under these circumstances. But your boyfriend was telling me that the guy that we found dead in the shed was your uncle. Denham replied, yeah, so I recently found out. Well, not recently. I found out months ago. He was posing as my father. It was just a whole crazy story. Detective James said, yes, I heard it was in connection with the murders, the assault, and the kidnapping that happened at the church. Lil Kenny jumped in by saying, yeah, that's exactly what happened. Detective James then said, yeah, because we do our research around here. So before they can finish their conversation, this other officer knocks on the door, then open it, then peeks her head through the door and say, James, can I talk to you real quick in the hallway? He says, excuse me, to Denham and Lil Kenny, gets up and go in the hallway. Now, he shut the door behind him, and the door have a window with some blinds, and the blinds are open. Now, Lil Kenny and Denham can see that Detective James and the other officer is having a real intense and shocking conversation by their body language. So now Detective James has came back in the room. He got his head looking down to the floor with a folder in his hand. He walks around his desk, he pulls his chair out and he sat in it and he scoots it up to his desk and he put the folder on his desk. He put his hands on his desk like this and then he began to look up at Lil Kenny and Denham. Lil Kenny immediately says, what's up? Detective James then replied, the reason why it wasn't no dead body odor is because whoever killed him drained his blood and replaced it with abominable fluid. And they also put this on the walls of the shed. He held up a picture, and it was a picture with red spray paint on the walls that said, leave this house.